Donn Davis is leaving the PFL. He went on social media and posted this Donn Davis announcement. And of course, you know Donn Davis as the founder of the PFL. This is the quote: "From the moment I founded Professional Fighters League 8 years ago, it has been my life. My vision was to create an innovative and premium MMA company as the valuable alternative for those that want it or need it. We started with nothing except universal skepticism. Against all odds, we succeeded." Now, PFL is the clear number 2 MMA company worldwide and the only other premium product. I will just say, just so I don't forget, like, I understand what he's saying when he says they started with nothing, but they did kind of take over World Series of Fighting. So there was some kind of foundation in place, but still, I understand and appreciate the sentiment. Anyway, back to the quote. 0 fighters to 80 of the top 300 world-ranked fighters under exclusive contract. 0 live event. I mean, they did take over. I don't know what this 0 stuff is, but 0 live events to 24 per year on 4 continents, 0 distribution to 190. I mean, they were on NBCSN, 90 countries with 20 major media partners, 0 viewers to 2 million average linear and streaming global viewers per event, 0 social followers to 30. They took over those plans. I mean, okay. This is, today I'm stepping down as chairman of PFL. I care deeply about each employee, value highly every investor, respect greatly our fighters, and appreciate sincerely all our fans who supported this company. I gave you everything I've got. PFL global footprint, valuable assets, and market position has never been achieved in MMA outside. What? PFL global footprint, valuable assets, and market position has never been achieved in MMA outside of UFC. I'm confident this foundation should lead to great future success. I mean, Bellator had a footprint, Strikeforce had a footprint, IFL had somewhat of a footprint. Elite XC was on CBS, for goodness sakes. PFL changed the great sport of MMA for the better. Meaningful innovations, unique global expansion, fighter empowerment, and the company is just getting started. I've loved fighting to build PFL. What do you fight for? Okay, so keep this up here for a second. I like Donn Davis a lot. I've enjoyed my interactions with him. We did have that one thing on Twitter towards the end, and I haven't talked to him since. There's just so much here, and I don't mean to kick him while he's down at the end of his road here, but like, PFL did not change the sport of MMA for the better. There is nothing that PFL did that made the sport of MMA better. In fact, witness the fact that the new regime is completely getting rid of everything that the PFL stood for and was about, season, tournament, etc. That would tell you that they did nothing to change the sport of MMA for the better. Meaningful innovations. What were the other ones at the end there? Unique global expansion, fighter empowerment. The company is just getting started. The tagline at the end is great. What do you fight for? Is amazing. A salesman until his final hours. And again, no animus whatsoever, but there's just so many inaccuracies in this statement. And so moments after this statement came out, the PFL issued this press release: Professional Fighters League completes successful strategic capital raise position organization for exponential growth. Transaction strengthens balance sheet, funds future growth, and establishes lead ownership by Knighthead Capital Management, LLC, and 885 Capital. The PFL today announced the successful completion of a strategic capital raise that strengthens the organization's financial position and ownership structure as it enters a pivotal year of growth. The newly raised capital will be used to retire existing debt and fund ongoing growth and operations, providing PFL with enhanced balance sheet strength and increased operational flexibility. As part of the transaction, certain affiliates of Knighthead Capital Management, LLC, and 885 Capital have expanded their ownership stakes, reinforcing long-term support of PFL's global strategy, premium live event model, and international expansion. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will say this is why he's out. He's out because there was massive debt. I've heard in the range of around 350 million, and this new investor group comes in, pumps a whole bunch of money out. His stock, his shares in the company get completely diluted, and now he's kind of essentially left with nothing. And so this was part, you bring in John Martin, new face, new voice, the board puts him in place, and the old guard is out. And that's why you saw Ray Sefo out and others behind the scenes as well. And I suspect more to come as well. This is a brand new regime and a brand new start for the PFL. I mean, they might as well be called something else at this point, because it's a completely different company now. And it goes to show just how hard it is to do this. And, you know, the UFC is a real success story. What the Fertittas did and Dana White did in those early days, bleeding money, not that much, but a lot, is a real success story. No one would ever question that or debate that. You know, I was talking to one person who said, you know, the deal to buy Bellator, which, you know, wasn't a monetary transactional deal. Like, they didn't pay millions of dollars for Bellator, but they did dilute it. They did dilute the stock as a result because it was an equity deal. Perhaps in hindsight was a big mistake. I know people are going to point to the Francis Ngannou deal. That did not lead to any of this. The guy fought once for them. And yes, there was PFL Africa and all this stuff. And I'm not trying to say that this has been a home run. I'm not. But if you think that the Francis Ngannou deal is what led to all of this, that's absurd. It has not proven to be a successful deal. It has not proven to be a home run. But there have been a lot of big mistakes. Sticking to this tournament stuff, all this, you know, I think that's part of the reason why it hasn't grown. What is the PFL? Does it have any sort of, you know, brand recognition, any sort of cachet with the audience? I don't know. The bottom line is this: the next 355 or 45 days for the PFL are make it or break it. They have a rights deal that is up with ESPN at the end of this year, and they've got to hit a grand slam here to survive as a company, because these guys who are coming in aren't going to want to bleed more money. This is it. This is the moment. And so you see them paring it all down. You know, they still have PFL MENA in Africa. We'll see how long that lasts. The PFL Europe stuff is going away. There'll still be European events, but my understanding is around 16 or so events, and they're just going to try to make it the best product possible. Like the event you're seeing on February 7th, which I think is a fine card. And then there's the Madrid card, Pittsburgh card, etc. Those are the ones that have been announced. Make it or break it. So Donn Davis, who was sitting in our old studio not that long ago, talking about them being the co-leader, talking about how bullish he was about the future, is out. Crazy. And so it was weird to digest all of this as I'm listening to a press conference where, you know, the team that I'm loving, you know, so for so many years, the Buffalo Bills that I adore, talking about their regime change. I'm like, oh, wow, you don't see regime changes in MMA. You don't see, like, you know, this type of stuff in MMA. We've seen sales, but few and far between. This is a big story. Obviously, it won't be as big as UFC 324 or anything UFC related, but, you know, to his point, they are the number two. I would argue they're the number two by default. And there is a good question and a good debate to be had about just like the state of MMA. As I've said time and again, the UFC is on fire, and I said this before the $7.7 billion deal. And we could complain and criticize Dana White's promotional tactics and his zest for life and how disconnected and disinterested. We could talk about all of that stuff, but they are a behemoth and they're not going anywhere. But what do you say about the rest of MMA in this country or this continent? It's not looking that great. It's looking way better in Europe, dare I say, with the KSWs and the Octagons. Japan, Ryzen. There's nothing here right now outside of the UFC. They are the ones that could do something. If they lose their ESPN deal, if ESPN chooses to not re-sign them, what do they have? It ain't that great out there. Again, ask Top Rank and Golden Boy right now. It ain't that great out there. So, what a story. What a twist. What a turn. Who would have thought that PFL would be a living and breathing thing without Donn Davis, because he has poured so much into it. But as we always said, it never felt like he was a fight guy. It always felt with his post that he was talking to investors. And maybe the best thing that he could have done was, like, you be the owner, but you get fight people to run it. And it felt like that never really happened. There were, of course, fight people involved, but, you know, the sign of a great owner sometimes, like, you look at the great owners in sports, the Mickey Arrisons, the Robert Krafts of the world, you know, like, those owners are always talked about because they put the right people in place and then they go away, right? Mickey Arison hired Pat Riley away from the Knicks, and then let him do whatever he wanted. Same when Kraft hired Belichick and he's like, go ahead, do your thing. It's the owners that meddle. It's the owners that get involved. It's the owners that try to be the sport guy that don't necessarily succeed. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. Look at the New York Knicks. When the owners get too involved, it usually doesn't lead to great things. So this is a fascinating story. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. And in particular, what they do with this media rights deal. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.